Hi everyone, today is July 17th, 2025 on this Gregorian calendar. This is Be Beautiful here. How y'all doing today? Give yourselves a hug and a kiss as I give myself a hug and a kiss. Share it out to the audience in this digital world. Share some out to me, and let's share some out to our planet Earth and the people on it. Okay, what are my thoughts today? My thoughts today are on cons and pros that we have with ourselves. Cons and pros are things that we express or can express every day. Some of us have the notion that we don't have cons. With that, we're just pros. Pros mean basically you're just positive and you have no ill intentions toward anybody or anything. You just this good person. They give the cons to everybody else. Sometimes we give the cons to everybody else. Nah, they trifling. They're deceitful. They're dishonest. They're liars. They only have ill will intents toward you, and or just anything that is considered to be on the negative scale is a con. Anything on the pro scale is considered to be positive. But I say that we have both those energies within us. And for those who may say, "No, I don't. No, I don't. I ain't got none of that in me," I beg to differ. Okay, now I have this. The reason why I'm doing this is because, give an example for a moment. Say somebody hurt your heart, and they intentionally did that. Now that could be an example of con. Someone who came in, pretended that they liked you or wanted to be with you, and the whole idea was to injure you or hurt you. And so I like y'all to think back in some of your own lives. Have you did that to people? Because a lot of us talk about those who hurt us, but we don't talk about those who we've hurt, whether it was intentional or unintentional. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. It's my first time sneezing on camera, on film. So yes, I'd like to dedicate this video to those people who we've hurt. Now, some of us may not know if we've hurt someone, because some people may not even let you know. But those that you know you've hurt, now you may not know how deeply you've hurt somebody because you don't know how deeply somebody was feeling for you, so you don't know. But I can say for myself, and I was a youngster. I was a youngster, a teenager, and there was this young man who was 5 years older than me. I was 16. He was 21. And he took a deep liking to me. And I was even, didn't know, I didn't have any feelings for him. But he showed strong likeness toward me. And the thing is, I'm a teenager. I'm not dating nobody, so I don't even know what the dynamics of a relationship looks like between a man and a woman. How a healthy one anyway, because I didn't grow up with a two-family household like that, like that. So I never understood. Well, let me go back. That's not all the way true. When I was coming up, I was brought up by my grandmother and grandfather, and I know that even though they shared a household and they had a whole lot of children, I can't ever say that I remember seeing my grandmother and grandfather hug each other or kiss one another or show that kind of affection toward one another. I was very young though. So they could have did it, but I don't remember. But I just don't remember seeing it. So that's why I say I didn't grow up in a household like that. And I was only in that household till I was about 8 or 9 years old with them when I left to go live with my mom. So and she didn't have which, but okay. So you know what? Being that I'm talking, she was married, but the person that she was married to, they had a very it was an abusive relationship. So I got to see that for the first time with my mom, her being in an abusive relationship. And so this is why I digress and say that I haven't grown up like that. So I really haven't seen a healthy dynamic like that with, yeah, I can say that. I haven't seen it really. So as I'm going on in my memory, I remember, as I said, this young man. And so I didn't like him. So when I met my ex-husband and I were the same age. And so I decided, well, I didn't want to, let me entertain my ex-husband. When he came, was talking to me, I was attracted to him. Um, and so I told the young man that, no, thank you, but, um, I was interested in somebody else. Now, that's very mature for somebody 16. But at the same time, it could have been very immature because I'm looking at it now. Because I hurt that man and didn't know that I really didn't think about his feelings because I didn't know. I had just known him like maybe a few days. And when he was talking to me as if he was so into me. Now, so y'all remember that. But like I said, he was 5 years older than me. I was 16. He was 21. And I'm just saying this. So I heard somebody. I felt like I heard him because he showed interest in me, and I told him I was interested in somebody else. And I don't know how deeply I heard him, or if I heard him at all, but I felt like I did because it wasn't rejection. It was a rejection, and I didn't hurt him. It wasn't an intentional hurt on my part, but it could be seen as that way because I wasn't mature enough to examine how he felt or how I felt. So that's just one example of someone hurting somebody. Or me, I can say I hurt that man. Um, so although I've been hurt in my life, I just wanted to flip it and say, how many people have you hurt? Have you intentionally hurt or unintentionally hurt? And thought to yourselves, well, now I could understand the outstanding viewpoint of somebody else who's hurt me, because I've been on the other side already. Um, so that could be so I would how can I say this? That's a pro for me because I can observe and I can go internally investigate those thoughts and those feelings of somebody else and myself in the process. So the con was, I hurt somebody, but it was not in deceit, because I said con is was basically negative. Um, so I don't know, y'all. This is just my thoughts, and I think sometimes it's great to think out loud and talk out loud, because you can see some things that you may miss when you just talk internally just with your thoughts. And see that wall ahead of me, the reason why I filmed it like this is because we have walls in front of us that we don't see past. And we have walls that we have put up, barriers in ourselves that we can't move past because of our experiences of how we've been hurt. So for those of us who've been hurt by someone that we've had feelings for, a lot of us have now built these walls up in our minds and our hearts to where we say we're not going to do that again. We're not going to get hurt again. So there's nothing that can penetrate your ideas about anybody. And let's just say one person hurt you. I've met people who say, I've tried that love thing. So they have since now go out here in these streets and they intentionally hurt people. They have the intent. Now that's a con, because they may project to somebody when they first talk to them, oh, I like you, I care about you, only in the guise of someone who's in there to hurt you. Now that's a con. Now to me, I could say that I could turn my situation into a pro with the young man who was 21, because I can say I did let him know that I was interested in somebody else. And like I said, that could have been looked at as a mature way to do something, express someone. I think that's the correct way to do something. Let somebody know, that what your feelings are, depending on the circumstance, okay, or the situation. Now the wall that has the bars, it's also a barrier. But the difference between the wall that's just straight brick in front of you and the walls that has the bars around them, there are holes in those bars. Like that, there are some spaces in those bars where you can put your hand through. You could even put your body through if you sit on top, however you look at it. So the difference with that is, even though it's a barrier, it's a barrier that has openness to it, to where you're just not completely closed off with your emotions. Your mind's not completely closed off, and your heart is not completely closed off. It's open to still love and receive love, with a protective barrier there. So now this is where discernment may have to come in now, to where you have to observe, view something, visit something, review it. Just total observance, analyzing what you're seeing in front of you, using your intuitive and your physical energies. It's like you have like a scale, a measuring scale, to try and best feel what's going to be best for you and how to read this individual. And so yeah, I just wanted to say that, really, like, let's flip the script and see how many people we've hurt, intentionally or unintentionally, how we could have do better, how it's not even saying how we could have done better, because that lesson was for you to do it that way so you could learn and reflect. I don't when people say, well, they should have did it like this, or they should have did it like that, they shouldn't have done that. Well, if they had the ability to reflect in that time, then they wouldn't have done that. But because this is what they had to do, it was something they had to go through, and it's something they had to learn, if in fact they wanted to learn anything from it. So, yeah. If y'all thought this was interesting thoughts, and like I said, if you want to share the flip side of not being hurt but being the one who hurts, let me hear some of your thoughts. With that said, enjoy the rest of where you are in the world, whether it's on the east side of the world, the planet, the west side of the planet, the south side of the planet, the north side of the planet, and all the in-betweens of the planet. And with that said, thank you for keeping me company. Talk with you soon.